Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. I'm Steve,
And I'm Scott.
and together we are Backyard Musings of Science and Technology channel.
Yep. And today we are talking about a health issue. And I'm sure everybody has heard about it or maybe being affected by it.
Or you know someone who's affected.
Or you know somebody. Yep. So here we go.
Understanding how hearing loss and tinnitus develop reveals why early prevention and treatment matter. Susan Bianco, an 87-year-old resident of Lancaster, began to, I think that's Lancaster, California, right?
I don't know.
Began to
Pennsylvania?
notice changes in her hearing when she repeatedly had to ask her husband to say things again. Conversations on the phone became difficult. Social gatherings were especially challenging. Quote, "It's very hard to hear in a crowd," she says. "I can't understand what one person is saying if other people are talking." Soon after Bianco noticed a new symptom, she began hearing a persistent buzzing sound in her ears that became more noticeable when she was tired. Would you like to know more?
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Bianco is one of the 13% of adults in the United States and 27% of adults aged 65 and older who experienced hearing difficulty. She is also among the 10% of people with tinnitus, a condition commonly associated with hearing loss. Both hearing loss and tinnitus become more likely with increasing age and exposure to loud noise.
Tinnitus refers to sounds such as ringing, buzzing, hissing, or whooshing that are heard in one or both ears. Some people describe the noise as resembling cicadas, or a freight train, says Dr. Jackie Price, an audiologist at Penn State Health Otolaryngology, head and neck surgery.
So cicadas are those little bugs, right? Those buzzing bugs.
Yeah, that a loud, piercing, ringing noise.
Yeah.
Cicadas, yeah.
All right. The noise doesn't come from an external source. It stems from a miscommunication between your brain and ears. I keep telling my wife that. Other common sound-related disorders include hyperacusis, which makes everyday sounds feel too intense, and misophonia, where certain sounds trigger strong emotional reactions. I wonder,
Price explains that tinnitus and similar sound-related conditions are often early indicators of hearing loss. Hearing loss begins when tiny hair cells inside the cochlea, a spiral-shaped structure in the inner ear, are damaged. These cells normally transform sound waves into electrical signals that the brain can interpret. When the hair cells are injured, those signals are disrupted, making sounds harder to hear. This breakdown in communication can also distort signals, leading the brain to perceive sounds that are not actually present, which is experienced as tinnitus.
Hearing loss and sound disorders can affect more than just your ears. They often affect sleep, concentration, and relationships. They can also speed up cognitive decline, raise depression risk, and increase the risk of falls. Protect your ears from loud noise. Use hearing protection when noise exceeds 85 decibels. That means wearing earplugs or ear muffs at concerts, sporting events, fireworks, and when using power tools. Yeah, it's something I've never done. Probably going to pay for that.
So I was going through a training exercise when I was a lieutenant at Officer Basic Course, Engineer Officer Basic Course, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And it was like a platoon exercise. We were going through, attacking and defending. And we had blank ammunition. So we had a blank adapters on the ends that would allow the bolt to come back all the way to chamber the next round. And so during this course that I went through, my earplugs that I had on my LCE, my load carrying equipment, somehow they came off. The metal clasp broke, so I lost my earplugs. And at the end, we had to shoot off all the ammunition. So there were some M60 machine guns, really loud, and the company commander was like, "Okay, you guys need to shoot this off. I need volunteers to do it." There were like 2 or 3 machine guns, and nobody was raising their hand. And so I'll do it. And And that was like beating loud noise against my eardrums. It's crazy. I remember it to this day. It's probably what contributed to this tinnitus.
So it was not a controlled situation where they said, "Hey, Richardson," or sorry, "Hey, Steve, put on your earplugs before you operate this machine gun."
Well, that was, that was expected. You were supposed to wear earplugs, but I lost mine on the thing, and nobody was volunteering. Maybe others had lost theirs during the on the lane. Um, so I just said, okay, I'll do it, and I knew it was going to hurt my ears, but I still did it.
Hmm.
It was ingrained in me as a cadet to always volunteer. That's the right thing to do, to always volunteer.
Well, that's kind of kept with you, I would say. Yeah.
All right. Choose the right earplugs or earmuffs. Buy earplugs or earmuffs with a noise reduction rating of at least 22 decibels. This number listed on the product package tells you how much sound the product will eliminate. Insert earplugs correctly for full protection. Most foam earplugs are meant for one-time use to maintain a complete seal that keeps out noise. So I know on my generators that I install occasionally, there's always a specification that the noise is no more than 71 decibels at 21 feet away from the generator. So I think 71 decibels is a sweet spot for not damaging your ears.
Well, you hear about decibels on a lot of things. Like dishwashers, for instance, they will give you a decibel rating because people don't want to have a loud noise going on after dinner or whatever. After you load the dishwasher and run it. But there are some that are super quiet, and there are some that are not too quiet. So, hearing loss and tinnitus have no cure, but treatment can improve hearing and quality of life. Hearing loss is managed based on its underlying cause and how much hearing has been affected. In many situations, doctors recommend hearing aids or other assistive devices to support clearer communications. But my mom wore a hearing aid, or she tried to, and that thing was always plugged up with wax, and it was always out of adjustment. It would give off this high-pitched whistle, which to us on the outside was annoying, but I'm sure to her it was just deafening, right? To hear that high pitch that close to your ear. And then I've known people, somebody in our ward used to have those cochlear implants.
Yeah.
And they look. Rush Limbaugh had those. He had those put in because of his hearing loss. And but those things, you see people with those, and it's like you've got a set of headphones permanently implanted above your ears in the back of your head.
You can actually see them right on the scalp. Yeah.
Yeah, right above the ear. So anyway.
For tinnitus, one commonly used approach is tinnitus retraining therapy, which aims to reduce how disruptive the condition feels in everyday life. This method combines counseling to help individuals adjust to the sounds they hear with sound therapy that introduces soft background noise, such as white noise, to draw attention away from the tinnitus.
Bianco now wears hearing aids and recently started tinnitus retraining therapy. Price programmed a soft, pleasant, constant sound or a constant noise in a Bianco's hearing aid as part of her sound therapy. Bianco hopes the new noise can help her feel less distracted by her tinnitus. If you notice ringing in your ears, seek out a hearing evaluation, Price advises. So occasionally I'll get some buzzing or ringing in my ear, but it's very, very, not very often at all. But I used to, when I was younger, the crowd I hung out with, man, we attended a lot of concerts, and some of them were pretty loud, and using power tools. I've just never gone about the personal protection stuff, where you use eye care. I've always had glasses for a long time, but earwear, like mufflers or headphones, and And again, part of that reason was because you couldn't hear, but now they've come a long way with that. Now they have the earphones or earplugs or muffs or whatever you want to call them, that you can still hear people talking. It just drowns out the burst of a blast of a gun or the constant noise of a power tool or so. But I haven't sprung for one of those yet. So, but I always make sure my grandkids, when we go out shooting, I always make sure my grandkids wear those. Yeah, but it just wasn't a thing back then. When I was growing up, my dad was out and working in the shop. I'd go out there and mess around with him. It's just never a thing. So
if you've got tinnitus, let us know in the comments what symptoms you hear.
Yeah, and what you've done to try to overcome it. So yeah, let us know.
All right,
See you
folks,
this
thanks for joining
afternoon.
us.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you later this afternoon.